Raptors win. In a game that I was thinking about leaving at halftime, the Raptors were down 64-45 to the terrible Washington Wizards. They went on a hell of a run to, obviously, in the second half, outscoring the Wiz 66-43. They win the game 111-107. No Gary Trent, no OG. Scotty had a bit of a down game by his recent standards so far. Pascal had a massive game, and I was happy to see Pascal kind of get back into that role of the team's leading scorer and leader because so far this season, I think that what's been missing with the Raptors most is some leadership and scoring. I love Scotty Barnes. I don't want to get this twisted. He's had a great start to the season. I wouldn't say he's a natural born scorer, at least not at this point of his career. Pascal came in, had a lot of development when he came in. If you guys recall, Dwayne Casey, I remember in his rookie year, was getting benched a lot as well. Obviously, Scotty didn't get benched because he was such a high draft pick. He showed some improvements, and he's looked really good this season and on both sides of the floor. But today it was all about Pascal. Massive game leading the team to this win. Some big plays from Boucher towards the end of the game. Really like the energy that he brought. He brought a lot of positive there. Otto Porter Jr. getting the start. I think a lot of people when the season started thought that he was probably going to be towards the end of the bench with Thad Young and a few of the other vets there. But he's been getting some decent time. Been disappointed so far this season with McDaniels. I know that he came in, was supposed to be a defensive guy. I don't know if he's made a three all game and if all season, and if he has, there's been, like I said, maybe one or two. Malachi had a pretty decent game coming off the bench. I know Raptors fans don't really love him, but at this point, if he can just give you some, I guess, bench minutes to spell Schroeder, who ended up getting hurt in this game. I thought at one point towards the end of the fourth there, he was going to check himself out. Took a possession off, came back strong, looked pretty decent. Grady, I made a comment. Grady has no bag. It was on one of the Raptors posts. He doesn't look great. Today, I think he hit 3 of his first 4 shots from 3-point land. I mean, his job is to space the floor. With a lottery pick, you're obviously looking for him to do a little bit more than just shoot the ball. You want him to create. But whenever I see him on the floor, there's a time where he caught a lob and kind of tried to go up with it. That's not his game. Just questionable decision making. He's not the most athletic guy, although he threw down a massive dunk. It was almost like a LeBron kind of dunk where he just kind of cocks it back and did that in the pregame, which kind of shocked me. He is 6'8", but still. I want to see more of that athleticism in the games. Precious, another guy. He finished with 10 points. There's just times where Precious, and I said this when we first got him, and I guess it would have been 2 years ago now. This is his 3rd season with the Raptors. Just not what I would call like a basketball player. Precious is an athlete. And when he's letting his athletic gifts kind of do the talking for his game, and he's not trying to be too skilled, he's had good spells with the Raptors. But there's just sometimes, obviously he's not shooting as many threes. His confidence is like at 0. He's getting stripped a lot in the post by smaller guys. When the ball's in his hand, he's really scared. He's getting the ball at the 3-point line today a few times, and he wanted nothing to do with it. He was just dying to give up the ball. I hope he gets it together. There's a tweet that I saw from, I don't know, it was a recommended tweet by one of the Raptors accounts, and it says something like, what does Precious do in the offseason? Because there's been 0 signs of improvement. And I laughed at that. And it's just, with some players, like I said, even Scotty, for example, like Scotty's jump shot, right? It's not a smooth jump shot. This is not a guy that's been a scorer. When you're that physically gifted and you're that athletic, you don't have to work on things like your 3-point shot. That's what, I guess, what separates the great players from the players that just become, average NBA players or role players or notch above average guys. It's that God-given talent with that incredible work ethic, right? And it's tough because we see a lot of guys posting videos these days of being in the gym. We see it with Ben Simmons, right? So I think we kind of know that we can't judge every workout that we're seeing online the same, right? But it's just like I said, with Precious, I don't know at this point of his career. Not like he's a 10-year vet or anything like that. I just don't know how much more we can kind of expect from him at this point of his career. But it would be nice to at least see some signs that we saw in his first season with the Raptors where he is going to be a little bit more active defensively, be more of like a rim runner. I know they're playing him at center now out of his preferred position at power forward. But, I mean, I would just like him to do a little bit more. Get the coach to kind of give him some more leeway with his game. Pirtle, his usual self, really good, 13 and 6. I ever since they got him back, I remember I was one of the few people that said they needed to get a center. That was when the Raptors last year were trying to go this positionless basketball, thanks to Nick Nurse. And also, I guess, the GM and president for not getting him his chess pieces, but that didn't work. And then I guess getting back to this game, like Dennis obviously didn't have the strongest game, but just when he's on the floor, I feel like there's more of a calming presence as opposed to when, dare I say, Fred was here at times. Obviously, he had some great moments with the team, but last season didn't love his energy and the way, like the lack of setting guys up and everything. I feel like this team, back to the days where like Patrick Patterson was on the team and CJ Miles, I don't know what that's been now, like 6 years or so. Those guys, I felt like they loved each other. You can kind of tell it from watching the team, you know, in those open gym sessions that would be on TV, or even just from watching the guys play together. Just a trust. And say what you want, but it doesn't matter what kind of level of sport you're playing. When you're enjoying playing with your guys, your teammates, you can see it and it makes a big difference. It's tough. You can really tell teams that don't like each other, getting back to the Golden State and Jordan Poole here that we saw today. When guys don't like each other, that chemistry is a little bit off. You can try and kind of fake it or put your things aside off the court and kind of play together, but you can really see it. So I'm happy to see, like I said, this team really playing together. I'm still unhappy with the direction that this team's going because based on talent and everything, you have one guy, obviously. You have Siakam, who I don't know who he's going to be with the team long term, but when you look at Scottie Barnes, that's the one piece where you're like, okay, here's a piece of our future. Grady Dick, he's a lottery pick, but he's definitely, call me crazy, he's not going to be one of those guys going forward that's going to potentially make an all-star team or anything like that, right? He just looks like he doesn't have those tools. Getting to my point here, I just don't understand this direction of the team trying to scrape in for another play-in game or something like that. And even if you do get, let's say, 6 plays, I can't even see them getting 5th because there's just so many good teams now in the East. You get to 6th, 7th, 8th, all the way down through 10 in this play-in, and it's like, what's going to happen? Just like last year with Chicago, you're going to either lose in the play-in, lose in the next game of the play-in if you win the first one, or probably get swept by a team like Boston. I don't know if Philly's going to hold up this whole season, or Milwaukee, right? And I know people are going to say, look at the Miami Heat and what they've done recently with their playoffs, but this team doesn't have a guy like Jimmy Butler. They don't have those surrounding pieces. So what I would, and I've been saying this for a while, I want this team to just kind of rebuild naturally, right? Like just a team like Washington, no matter how hard they tried to win this game, it seemed like they were just going to piss the game away anyways. I want to see this team get another top 5 pick, so at least you can have 2 horses to run with if you get Scottie, another guy that's going to be a top 5 pick next year or something like that, as opposed to this constant being in limbo, being a play-in team and having no real direction. Anyways, that being said, Raptors, like I said, big win. I don't know how you can kind of gauge this. You come back against a team that's probably going to finish, if not dead last, the bottom 4 team, bottom 5 team in the NBA this season, a game that you should have won easily, but ends up being an entertaining game for the fans, unfortunately, for those people that didn't turn off the game at halftime or anything like that. But, I mean, other than that, I don't really know where else. I'm not enjoying going to the games this season as I did previously. Like I said, it just, obviously this team is not, there's no championship aspirations, clearly. But even without that, we said this before, it reminds me a little bit of the Toronto Maple Leafs, where it's like you get so far in the playoffs every year and you kind of have this hope of trying to get to a next level. And this team, they're not getting to that next level. There's not much to look forward to other than the growth of a few young guys, of course. But I guess you want to see harder efforts at all times. And even in the Boston game, I know that they were outmatched and everything, but that just wasn't there either. Raptors have a big homestand. So from today, Monday night, they're going to be going every other night, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday at home. So it'll be interesting to see how this team does in that homestand. And then also, I guess, leading up to Christmas time, getting to the All-Star break, how this team's going to be. Best case scenario, this team might be a 500 team in the East. But yeah, like I said, hoping for this team to kind of not necessarily bottom out because they have too much talent to be a bottom 3 team, but hopefully get the lottery balls to go their way, just like when they got Scottie. Get lucky with a few bounces there and get a higher pick. But it's gonna be all for me tonight. I'll probably check in next game I go to or Wednesday night. If I don't go, I'll watch the game and get back to you guys. But drop some comments. Let me know what you guys are thinking about the team. If you like the direction they're going in, and also what's gotten you excited for this season. All right, I'll talk to you guys later.